Hey, this is a simple class I'm making for my sister, like a basic Pilates warm-up kind of thing. And let's do it. So we're going to start off on our mat in a little bit of a hip width stance. Put a gentle bend in the knees and just rock the weight from side to side with the hands on the hips. Notice the two hips. We're going to try to keep the hips in a level plane, even when we rock side to side. We're going to bear weight onto one leg and be able to pick the other leg up. Have the shoulders nice and square and the belly button lifting up and place it in towards the back and keep the back nice and long. Then from this little shift, we're going to take out the full lift of the leg, and we'll plant our weight onto one side. Then we're going to stretch our other leg out. We're going to find a middle position, hover there, and then we're going to take our hips over to the other side with the lower back nice and long, and then we're going to draw the other leg in, holding a little squat, press up, squat, and that little moderate tiny squat. So we're in a little tiny squat here with our knees slightly bent so the weight is in the gluteals. And then we're going to send the other leg out, landing the weight into both legs, both hips even, lower back nice and long. Then we're going to transfer the weight, pull in into that squat position. We're going to squat, come up, and take the moderate stance. So we'll just go back and forth between the two sides, working the lower back long the entire time. Down, up, and middle. This is a good exercise to make sure that we're really firing up the belly muscles in order to keep that lower back long. Not only do we want to keep the lower back long, but we don't want to collapse the spine forward in order to make that squat. We want to pull the spine up and keep it in extension. Not extension, really neutral, spine neutral. Last one each side. Now you'll notice we have to have our knees and feet over the same line. So the center line of the knee goes over the center line of the ankle, the center line of the knee goes over the center line of the toes. As we come into that moderate style squat, where it's like kind of like a bar stool squat, and then we're going to work our feet, rolling forward onto the toes, and then lifting the spine up, and then lowering those heels down. You can have your arms out parallel or hold the hands. We're going to just do this 3 times. Roll up onto the toes, straighten the legs, lift out of the crown of the head, and lift up the navel, firm up the thighs, lower and touch, and come back into that slightly bended knee. Then we're going to straighten the leg with the feet flat. Reach the weight forward onto the toes and pick up the crown of the head. Hold the crown of the head up high, and yet bend the knees forward while being up on the toes. And then roll down through the midline of both feet. Again, weight forward, heels up, knees forward, spine as straight as possible, and then lower those heels. Of course, straight meaning it has its natural graceful curves, and it's comfortable. And then we'll come up into our stance. We're going to play with Pilates stance. So come up onto the balls of the feet, tap the heels up, up, and up. And this time we're going to hold them up and swivel those heels in towards each other, kissing the inner edges of the feet together with the toes slightly apart in the pie shape. We're going to inhale, circle those arms up. Exhale, lower those heels down. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, and lower down. Inhale, circle up. This time we're going to hold, and we're going to do a side stretch while balancing on our our toes. Inhale up and exhale side. Inhale up and exhale. Lower the arms and the legs together. This will be our last warm-up position before we go down to the floor. And then we're going to work our inner thighs, outer hips while using the same squat technique we've been doing. So we're going to start off by coming up onto our toes. You can use your arms as a counterbalance, or if you're feeling wiggly or wobbly, just use your hands on a chair or countertop. Bend those knees forward. This time, really zip up the navel, lift up the ribs, and bring your inner thighs to come towards each other and draw the knees out, down and forward with the spine up and back. And then open those knees, straighten the legs, and lower the heels. We'll do that one more time. Inhale up, flex at the knee, adduct the inner thighs, abduct the inner thighs, straighten those legs, and lower down. Woo, reach the arms out and down. Now we'll go into reverse. We're going to go into our squat first. Then we'll bring the knees together, come up onto the toes, then open the knees, stretch out and down. From a squat, thighs together, up, open, and down. Let's just do that one more time. Really reach out of the crown of the head. It's like I'm trying to hold on to my squeeze of my inner thighs even when I open up the thighs. So there is our basic warm-up position. Woohoo. Okay, now we get to go down and practice a spinal roll down to a roll up. Pilates roll down, basically, we can come into it through a squat and get our hips on the ground, or just use your hands in any which way is comfy. And we're going to place the pelvis underneath of us and roll forward and up on top of the sitting bones. So try to articulate the lower spine, the base of the lower spine, the middle part of the lower spine, and the top of the lower spine. And then the top of the lower spine lifts, the middle lifts, and way down on the bottom. Now we're going to take it a little further. So placing lower, middle, and upper lower back down. Then we'll reach the middle back, placing the middle back, and then we'll lift it back up. So we'll try to move as sequentially through both sides of the spine as evenly as possible as we lower down the lower back, the base of the middle back, the middle of the middle back, and the upper part of the middle back. We'll come back up. All the while, you can use your arms to help against the legs to help articulate the spine. Now, we're going to add on the upper body. Inhale to prepare. Exhale. Lower, middle, and upper. And then upper, middle, lower. He teaches us how to make a C curve. It's really good so you flex the spine. Lower, middle. The lower part of the upper spine, the middle part of the upper spine, and the upper part of the upper spine. And then reverse. Upper, middle, lower. Upper, middle, lower. Upper, middle, lower. And then stand it up nice and tall. We'll roll back down. And that was our basic roll down and roll up. While we're here, we'll place our hands on our belly and walk our feet in. Take a big breath along the sides of the spine, opening up the ribs. As you exhale, feel the navel under your hands gently contract as you lift up the pelvic floor underneath. Holding that, pick up one leg and gently touch that toe down. Repeat that leg in and down several times. Then change sides. In this position, we want to feel the weight of the leg being carried in the abdomen, with the lever of the thigh just moving up and down in the hip socket. Now, we're going to march the legs one at a time, one side and then the other. You may put your fingers into your hip creases and feel that the hip creases are staying long and strong. Instead of just touching the toes, you may add on the flex of the foot, spread the toes, and tap the heels. All the while, keeping the back open into the ground by the use of the gently pressing, active navel, which is wrapped around the already lifted pelvic floor. Keep the collarbones wide and the shoulders back. If you'd like to add on and bear more weight, you can go between the toe and the heel, and you can also move the calf away from the thigh and straighten your leg to any degree that's comfortable. You can begin to make bicycles at any rhythm that suits you. If you've been bicycling comfortably in one direction, now's a good time to reverse. Bicycle in the other direction. From these warm-ups, we'll learn an exercise called single leg stretch. Single leg stretch starts with the right knee into the chest with the left leg extended out. Lift the toe up towards the ceiling and then pull it down to the ground. If you can keep your spine comfortable and flat on the ground, you may allow the leg to be as low as you'd like. Wag it up and down and figure out which is the most optimal position for you to do single leg stretch. Then we're going to change the legs. I keep my left hand on my left ankle so that the left heel is in line with my sitting bone, and right hand across my torso holding the right knee, keeping the thigh in line with my rib cage. And then we'll switch. Single leg stretch is a really nice stretch, but it also becomes a very good abdominal workout when we add the upper body curl. So curling the top of the upper body, the middle of the top of the upper body, and the lower part of the upper body up off the floor, keeping the shoulder blades wide and across the back, relaxing down around the sides of the neck, onto the torso. We fire up and do single leg stretch. And the tempo is usually exhale, 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 exhale. Of course, there's a little inhale in between for 3, 3, 2, 2, and 1. Single leg stretch. For double leg stretch, we oftentimes take Pilates stance, which means our heels are together and our toes are apart. We bend our heels towards our hips, and then we send the legs out with a point and flex, bring them in. This is the preparation. Just like we did in single leg stretch, the legs can be as low as you can comfortably keep your navel into the back and the back into the mat. Since I have this ancient back injury, I prefer to have my legs a little higher. I suggest you work your legs at the place that works your body best. Now, to make double leg stretch really work, we catch and hold our legs in and send our arms up. Exhaling to pull in, inhaling to send out. Double leg stretch is more effective if we add that upper body curl. Inhale and exhale. For 3, 2, and 1. Gently release. We've done single leg stretch, double leg stretch, and now we'll do single straight leg. We'll start off single straight leg with a little gentle stretch up the back of the thigh. Then extend. Both legs may be bent, one may be straight, or both may be straight to achieve a comfortable stretch where both hips are long, both legs are stretching, and the shoulders and neck, jaw, face, and scalp are relaxing. Then we'll do the other side. You may add a point and a flex of your foot, or even make little circles to make the stretch more juicy. Lengthen from the tip of the tail down to the bottom leg and reach out to from the crown of the head all the way to the other wall. Breathe your rib cage wide and let your belly sink into your ribs and hover down, firming up into the back. Then single leg stretch becomes single straight leg as we scissor kick the legs. This is a nice way to warm up for the exercise. If your body feels strong and wants to go further into the position, add the upper body round position, bringing the shin towards the forehead and the forehead towards the shin while keeping the back soft into the mat with the belly muscles engaging. We'll go 3, 3, 2, 2, and 1, and 1. Bring both knees into the chest. We've done a lot of work in our abs, so let's just release the muscles before we go double straight leg. So reach the arms up overhead and arch your back just a touch, and then relax. Place the feet underneath. You may place your hands on your thighs or arms by your side to do a bridge position. Stretching the belly. Lift the chest, and then bone by bone, gently lower down. We will revisit this position very soon. Double straight leg. Coming into a Pilates stance with the feet in a V shape. Knees in line with the ankles, and hips soft and heavy down into the mat. We're going to stretch the legs into that straight position. We're going to extend and reach. Inhale and exhale. We'll do 3, 2, and 1. Double straight leg. From double straight leg, we often do leg circles before we do our crisscross. But before we do leg circles, let's work a little bit on that bridge. Placing the arms by your side. Fire up the arms into the floor. Fire the feet down. Hollow the navel, and then firm the gluteals and swing the pelvis forward and up, away from the nose. Press the shoulders underneath and lift the sternum towards the nose. Keep the neck neutral. Softness in the jaw. Press the pelvis under and push the legs down. Then sequentially lower through the spine, from the top of the spine through the middle of the spine, trying to keep both sides as level as possible all the way down to the tip of the tail. Repeat. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, swing and push. Inhale, hold it here. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, bridge pose. Inhale, in bridge pose, and exhale, lower down. Now we're going to add a little bit on to bridge pose. So, before you press up, squeeze the inner thighs together all the way down to the inner knee. Then pick up the pelvis with the legs adducted, while up into your bridge. Abduct the legs and then lower the spine down, bone by bone by bone. We'll do that 2 more times and reverse it. Inhale while you're here, while you open the legs, and exhale. Try to keep the pelvis up as long as possible before lowering it to the ground. Last one, inner thighs, set. Go with the hips. Try to push through the feet, push through the arms, and then relax the spine down into the ground. We're going to reverse that. We're going to start with the legs open, swing the pelvis forward and up, roll the weight onto those shoulders, push the arms down, squeeze the legs together, and with the legs together, we're going to lower down and then open up. Hips come up with the legs open, parallel, hip width apart or slightly wider, then squeeze the inner thighs together, and then lower the spine to open the legs. Last one. Swing the pelvis up and under. Squeeze the inner thighs. And then lower the spine down, working to keep the pelvis up as long as possible, working through both sides of the spine, feeling nice and even. Take a moment and just relax the legs by opening and closing like butterfly on the back. So, we will go into our leg circles. With the right knee into the chest, extend the left leg out to any place possible where you can keep your lower back and hips softly resting on the ground. Pull up the pelvic floor and hug the navel into the waist. Extend the leg. We're going to practice stretching the leg open by lowering the right leg out to the right, shoulders relaxed, collarbones long, and then we'll pick the leg up in line with the rib cage, and then we'll cross over in line with the navel to the other side, just as best as possible, while keeping the hip long and down. And then we'll release the grip, circle the leg down and around and up. Inhale starts the circle, exhale completes it. We'll do 3 in this direction, 2, and 1. Then we'll reverse for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And I can't tell you how hard I am working through my leg that's on the ground to hold it down and keep it locked in place. Change sides, please. Getting that nice leg stretch on the other side. We'll start off by opening the thigh out to the side. Pick up the leg through center, keeping the hip long, soft, and down. We'll cross the leg over the midline. Then we'll begin our circles. Circle down and around and up. The inhale always starts the circle, and the exhale completes it. Circling around, keeping the hips and pelvis as still as possible. If you notice your pelvis is moving, always bend the leg and get a different angle on the spine. And then we'll reverse. We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Leg circles, bring the knees into the chest. From leg circles, we often go into our crisscross. So for our crisscross position, we'll interlace our fingers and hold our skull in our hands. Let's gently begin the upper body roll up off the floor. The knees may be into the chest or the feet may be on the floor for our warm up for crisscross. For crisscross, take a big breath in, cinch down those ribs, and roll, tipping from one shoulder to the other, reaching the other across. Though we're reaching the shoulder across, we're keeping the shoulder bone hovering onto the back, not reaching up into the neck, so that there should be space between the shoulders and the neck. Rolling side to side, trying to keep both sides of the spine open and long, with the pelvic floor up, navel firm, tail nice and long, pelvis locked and strong. For 3, 2, and 1. Crisscross. Now we'll work the legs. Alternate the legs with either the toe tap, the heel tap, or extend one leg, like single leg stretch, and add on the crisscross. So if the right knee comes in, the left elbow goes up. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's just play a little bit by bringing the elbows and knees in towards each other and coming back out. Exhale to come towards each other and inhale to release. Become aware of the pelvic floor and gently fold it in and up. Pick the navel up and contract the ribs gently in towards each other, opening up the back of the body. And now it's time to counter stretch all of that good action. We'll transition to the next position by doing a modified windshield wiper pose. With your feet hip width or wider, with your arms, your upper body sealed to the ground, we're just gonna roll from one side of the pelvis to the other, rolling knees. You may look in the direction of your knees to begin with, and then, if you'd like, add on the head going to the opposite side. Relaxing the abs, relaxing the back. Feeling the spine bone by bone by bone. From tail to tip, tip to tail. And then when you come to one side, just roll over on that side, and we get to do different Pilates. We're going to lay on our belly and stretch our belly at first. We want to keep our lower back long as we're stretching the belly. So we'll tuck the navel up into the lower spine, lower it, keeping the lower back as long as possible. We'll reach the sternum out and forward, push the arms down and pull them in. We can tuck our toes behind us and stiffen the legs to keep nice and long at the tail. This counterbalance should feel really good on those nice firm abs. Stay and take a few breaths here. Now, keeping our spine as long as we can, we're going to work the upper spine and then the lower spine and then both together. We'll stretch our arms out or out to the side, up like a superhero, or out to the side or somewhere in between in a V position. You may choose that position and go from there. Inhale, lift the upper back off of the mat. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, fill up with breath. Exhale, keep your back broad, but lower out and down. Now we'll add some arm position. Inhale, open the arms and pull the shoulders on the back, reaching the fingertips towards the heels. Exhale, lower the spine back and down, reach the arms up overhead. Inhale. Keep the shoulders rolling onto the back and the sternum pulling forward and up. Exhale, reach out and down. One more. Inhale, lift up, and we'll hold it here. Extend out through the crown of the head. Reach the navel up, firm the inner thighs up. Lengthen the hips down, squeeze the legs down, and hold. Hold, hold, and then lower down. Turn one cheek to the floor and rest the head. Allow the heels to move apart and the toes point in towards each other in relaxation. We have one more set to do. Turn the forehead down and take the arms back behind you, reaching towards the feet, and pick up the spine. This time, we'll inhale, take the arms out. And as we exhale, we're going to paddle our arms like we're swimming. Keep the spine long, so look down the line of the nose and reach out of the crown of the head. We're going to paddle our arms up and down for 3, 2, and 1. Reach the arms out and turn the other cheek on the floor. Bring the forehead down and pick up the spine. Place the hands under your head, either in little fists or just like one on top of the other as if it was a pillow. Pick up the right leg back and out, and then lower the right leg. Pick up the left leg back and out, and lower the left leg. Go between each leg, feeling the long, strong buttock, the long, strong leg, and the supportive navel, soft back, and shoulders lifting out of the sternum and the crown of the head long. I find it helps to really point my feet to get that little extra and when I feel my pubic bone down and my hip bones down in this particular posture. Feeling both hip bones down gives me the great opportunity to really square off my pelvis. Two more. One more. And release. Bring the knees into flexion with the feet towards the ceiling and gently roll on the thighs together, wagging the tail, releasing and lengthening the lower back. Then straighten those legs back out, firm up the thighs, pick up both legs, hips down, pubic bone down, navel up. Lower and lift the straight legs for 3, 2, and 1. Hold it on the up and gently tap your heels in towards each other. For 3, 2, and 1. Lower the legs. Now we're going to take the arm and the leg action together. Reach the arms back behind. Inhale. Pick up the chest and the legs. Inhale, open the arms up overhead. Exhale, the arms back and down. Lifted legs. Squeeze and tap the heels while you're up for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lower back and down. Now, inhale with the arms up overhead. Pick up the upper body and the legs. And then gently swim the arms and kick the legs. For 3, 2, and 1. And release. Place the hands under the shoulders. Gently push up through a plank, either on the knees or with straight legs. And take a child's pose, rounding the back as our counter stretch. If child's pose is comfortable to you, walk your hands over to one side and get a little side stretch in it. Walk your hands through the center and then over to the other side to get a little tiny side stretch. Coming back through center, gently roll up through the spine. Now we get to stretch out our hip creases and come back into a more standing position towards the end of class. So to stretch out our hip creases, I oftentimes love to use the lunge position. So with or without blocks, you may take your lunge, bringing your right knee into the chest and extending that left hip down and forward. Tuck the toes under of your back leg and pick it up, or keep it down. Get a nice long stretch. Press weight gently down through your front foot and send weight back out through your back leg heel. If you're not there already, lower your knee down. If this is uncomfortable on your back knee, please place a pad under the knee for next practice. Inhale, straighten your front leg and bend your back leg. and a half split. Relax your spine down and forward. Look up at your navel and your hips. Are your hips level? Are you breathing into the back and allowing the navel to move? There should be a natural movement with every breath. And we'll bend that knee forward one more time, taking a deeper stretch. We'll lower the back knee down again and come into a modified plank or a plank. Modified plank is with the knees down. Plank is with the knees up. Become aware of the back of the head, the back of the heart, and the back of the hips. And keep them all in one plane as you lower out, down, and forward, flexing the elbows and extending. We'll do 3, 2, and 1. Then, lucky us, we get to do lunge on the second side with a child's pose transition. Round the back, and then place the foot forward with a long spine. Either with the back knee down or the back knee up. Take your comfortable position and stretch your back hip crease nice and long, wide and open. Lower the back knee. Breathe and relax into the spine. And then push through the front leg, sending it straight with the hips back and spine long. Relax the head and the neck and look at the navel and hips. Come back into our lunge. And we will prepare for our second set of plank push-up. Second set, plank push-up, please. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, down and out. Push. The push is the exhale, really. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. And then tuck the toes under, pick the hips up, and take that A-frame position that we lovingly call downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana in yoga terms. Gently walk or step in and roll up through the spine. Before you come all the way up, make some arm circles in one direction and then the other. And then gently roll up the spine, bone by bone by bone. We're going to bring our heels to touch together in that moderate Pilates stance. Roll forward onto the toes and pick up the heels. Lower to touch and lift and up. Then we're going to practice coming into a modified squat. So instead of parallel, we'll take a modified squat in a Pilates stance with the knees opening up over the toes, with the lower spine long. Then we can pick up the heels and lower down. And then we're going to take a side lying position. Take a nice little break on our side. Stacking the hips, one hip over the other. You may have your head up in your hand or down on your shoulder, or you may push a block or a cushion under the head between the shoulders so it can rest more naturally. Keeping the hips where they are with the knees bent, we're going to pick up our top leg. We're gently going to lower and lift that leg while keeping the pelvic floor up, the hips square, the shoulders square, and the navel working. We're going to add a little motion. It's going to be like a little figure 8. We're going to move the knee forward and down, and then out and up, and completing the figure 8. We're really working to stabilize the pelvis and the shoulder girdle and keeping as long as we can in between the two. Then we can reverse the direction of our leg circles. Our leg figure 8s rather. Ha ha ha, but now you know what's coming next, because I gave it away, is the leg circle. And then we can reverse the direction of the circle. You may use straight legs through this process or focus work with bent legs. Then we're going to just pulse it up and down for a few moments here. And 1, and then we'll bring it forward, center, and back, center. So forward, I flex at the hip, and I want to keep my hip long. And as I extend the hip back, I want to keep my hips square and long. As the leg goes back, you can counter stretch with the arm. As the leg comes forward, you can use that arm almost like a ruler on the hips to make sure the hip stays level. Now we're going to combine wagging the leg up and down in that range of motion, making that little tiny bounce, strengthening our outer hip and inner thigh. Really lean into your bottom leg and gently push, pulse, push, pulse, push, pulse. We'll do this 3 times more. Two times more. Back. And up. And 1 time more. We're going to bring that leg up in the front and then lower it down and pick up the bottom leg. The inner thigh will do the work, keeping the hips stacked for 3, 2, and 1. We'll bring the knees into the chest and gently roll over to the other side. Knees are a little bit more than 90 from the torso, and calves also a little bit more than 90, but the hips always stack. We'll start off with our pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, figure 8s, please. Starting up, down, and around, back, and forward. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, 2, reverse. Down and forward, back, down and forward. we're going to do some little pulses right in place, firing it up as it goes up and catching it as it goes down. And we're going to add a little flexion and neutral to extension. Flex, neutral, extend. Now we're going to add on the little pulses. Notice we have to really drive down into the floor to stabilize ourselves. And we want the hip to stay long the entire time, back and front. For 3, 2, 1. Lower that knee out and down, and then pick up the bottom leg. Working the inner thigh, pulling the outer hip in and the inner thigh up to meet. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both knees into the chest. We'll gently roll up. And then finally we'll end with rolling on our spine. Spinal roll. He calls it rolling like a ball. So you can have open legs. You can hold your thighs, hold your shins, ankles, or feet for rolling like a ball. Which you basically make yourself a little ball. Begin to inhale to exhale. Try to get the massage happening on both sides of the spine. Now, if this feels at all dangerous for your spinal bones, instead of rolling up and down the spine, lay on your back and roll side to side. Then we'll come up to take a small balance. And from our small balance, we'll place our hands or our elbows down behind us. You can also be on your hands. Oh yes, hands or elbows. But touch the toes to the floor. Keep the chest lifted and lower the knees. Just like we did in the windshield wiper, but this time the legs are touching. And massage out the tailbone, side to side, while keeping the shoulders down and around the back and the sternum and head lifted. Then we'll come on up, flex and point our toes, open the legs, and then come into a comfortable position. We'll begin rounding our spine down and around, bringing the legs in and out and in and out until you find a comfortable position to allow your spine to come down and around and forward. Inhale, stack up the spine bone by bone by bone. And then exhale, we'll take a side stretch. One more side stretch to the other side. Exhale, out, down, and forward. Final stretch. Thank you for coming to watch this video today. I hope you found it educational and informational. And this is for my sister, so I hope she likes it. And I love everybody in this world, like my brothers and my sisters, but my sister, man, nothing like her. She's the best. Have a good day. Bye.